tell the world who you are, what's your name?
Okay, well, my name is Anna Fullerton. I was born in Colorado, but actually raised in North Dallas. And I moved back here to finish up college and work for City Square.
My name is Shanicia Johnson. I'm from Dallas, Texas, born and raised.
My name is Melanie Wagner.
Where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Actually kind of fell into it. I was working for City Square over the summer as an AmeriCorps member, and I didn't know what I was going to do for the next year, and this opportunity as a Vista came up, and I didn't even know what a Vista was. I had no clue what that meant, and so I liked the idea of having a year-long commitment, and I liked the idea of being able to continue with City Square, and the position sounded like something that I could, get into, and so I applied, and I interviewed, and I got it, and then, and it was still in the works, so none of us really knew what Serviceworks was going to be.
Actually, I worked with a nonprofit that partners with City Square, and they really wanted me to come on for the summer, and so they told me about AmeriCorps, and I decided to apply. So that partner was Kids University, and I was a summer tutor. And while I was doing that, they sent out an email blast and proposing Vista to everyone, and so I decided to apply.
Originally, I interned with, or I was an AmeriCorps member with City Square's Food on the Move program. And as my service was coming to a close, they actually offered me this position. And I thought it was a good opportunity to get involved with the students in more of an educational realm rather than Food on the Move is just delivering food during the summertime. And I was more interested in getting into the educational sector. So,
being more of an introvert, it kind of was hard for me to speak out and give my opinion on certain things and to even talk to, a lot of people, because my position required me to do that a lot, to go out into the community and speak to people and to, do a lot of volunteer recruitment. So that was a big challenge for me, but fortunately I've overcome that. I've gained a lot of skills with this.
Beginning, the challenges were we're a new program, we were a startup, so the people didn't know, or the students didn't know what the program was about. And we would come onto campus and we would have our classes and everything, but they weren't necessarily bought into it yet because we didn't have a presence on the campus. But over time, as the year progressed, they actually came and they were excited to be there, and were excited about the service projects and just actually making a difference in their communities while getting their own personal benefit from participating in programming.
Highlights they're easy for me to define. I'm not, Vista itself is more of an admin position and program implementation. I'm much more of like a direct service kind of person. And so as soon as we got into the schools and I got to start interacting with the students and teaching and building relationships, I loved that. That was always my favorite day of the week, as I looked forward to it. And we actually ended up, we got pretty close to the set of students at South Oak Cliff, and there were about 15 of them that came consecutively and that we built relationships with. I actually got to go on a field trip with them and be their supervisor, and they would see us in the halls and they'd be like, "Oh, Miss Anna," and they'd run up to us, and those relationships were really precious to me.
So whenever we do our Serviceworks spiel to partners or to volunteers or different people, I always tell about my own personal journey. So like I said, I was born and raised here in Dallas. I grew up in Oak Cliff, graduated from Carter High School, and then from there I went to one of the best schools in the country, but I kind of felt like I was unprepared to do that. And I always talk about how I could have really benefited from a program like Serviceworks, because it teaches you certain skills that you don't necessarily get in high school, or your parents don't really tell you that, the stuff you need, like networking and, your strengths and how to use that to your benefit.
I think the main thing is that it actually gives youth confidence and opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily have. So it gives a roadmap. If you think about it, a lot of youth are coming from low income or disadvantaged backgrounds. they don't necessarily have like a sturdy home support system. So we kind of provide them with that while also giving them the tools that they need to be successful, whether it's in college or the workplace. So as I said before, networking, communication, just general teamwork, things that they don't really touch on in school, but are necessary in order for you to succeed in the workplace. So.
It's a little bit scary to leave it behind because we spent our whole year setting this program up, and now we have to hand it off to people we don't know and kind of trust that they will carry that forward, and that's scary. There's some tension there, I think. But if I think back to how I felt during the process, there were definitely a lot of times I thought about quitting. I mean, there were a lot of times it was very challenging.